Okay, so I'm going to quickly talk with you today about placental abruption in the context of a baby suffering an HIE brain injury at birth. This is a quick follow-up video to a video in which I talked about a couple of days ago some of the things which can cause a baby to suffer an HIE brain injury, a traumatic brain injury. In that I talked about umbilical cord compression, I talked about uterine rupture, and offline I had some comments about, well, can I talk about a placental abruption from a medical legal standpoint. So the placenta plays a very important role in the development of a baby. The placenta connects the baby to the mother's uterus. And when you have a placental abruption, you can have either a complete or a partial separation from the uterus. One of the main concerns with a placental abruption is mom hemorrhaging or bleeding. If mom is bleeding, then not only is that a threat to mom's life, but it also can be a threat to the baby. When there is blood loss, that can impact the amount of blood and oxygen that the baby has. HIE is a type of traumatic brain injury in which there is a reduction or even a cutoff of oxygenated blood, which can lead a baby to suffer a traumatic brain injury. So when you have a placental abruption, you can see how this can impact a baby in an adverse way. During labor and delivery, if this placental abruption is going on during labor and delivery, what you can see in some instances on the electronic fetal heart monitor, you may see a pattern of late decelerations. I've got a video, a few videos back in which I talk more about the fetal heart monitor and the patterns, but just quickly when it comes to that, when a baby is doing good, what we want to see is when the contraction pattern happens, the baby's heart rate goes down and it meets the contraction. And when the contraction subsides, when the contraction is over, the baby heart rate goes back to a normal baseline area. When we have late decelerations, it doesn't work like that. The baby does not meet mom. When mom has her contractions and the contraction comes and it gets ready to end, the baby doesn't meet. The baby's heart rate, it doesn't drop down until after the fact. So late decelerations can be signs that the baby is no longer, or the baby is having problems or difficulties during labor and delivery. And if the doctors and the nurses see a continuous pattern of late decelerations, and if you've got, maybe even prolonged decels, and you've got absent or minimal variability, all of these types of things can work to put doctors and nurses on notice that the baby may be having trouble during labor and delivery. And based on that, they have to move accordingly, because if they don't move accordingly or they don't move appropriately within the standard of care, then if it goes on for too long, then a baby can, in some instances, suffer a traumatic brain injury like HIE. So just to wrap things up, placental abruption is serious. It can be very problematic, and that is why doctors, they have to be able to diagnose it, and they have to move based on what they see, what the patient is presenting. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. I'm Marcus Boston, and I will talk with you next time. Take care, guys.